Again, the international community has insisted on arranging a new meeting between President of Serbia, Mr. Vučić, and the Prime Minister of Kosovo. But unfortunately, it makes little sense because there is no goodwill on the Serbian side. So they will attend maybe physically, but mentally they will be in Russia. So it makes no sense. Why to have it? It's just to appease the appeasers and to give the diplomats the idea that they are active and they have resulted and in a new meeting, which will again have no result like all these meetings since 2013. So the question is why to have them and why to organize it. I call for a dialogue between Kosovo and Bosnia. It makes much more sense and it should be internationally assisted. These are the two countries, the two victims of Milosevic and Serbian aggression in the 90s. And today they are also the victims of this brutal campaign of Mr. Vučić. And you have seen it now. He has imposed his church treaty on Montenegro and he is continuing open dialogue for Russia. And he is keeping Bosnia down and keeping it out of NATO. And he is messing up this situation in the north. He takes the people there in hostage. And the slightest way towards more independence and full sovereignty, like reciprocity, is then abused for wild kind of threats of war, which anyhow we would destroy his army within days now, as of course NATO is much more prepared for military intervention again. In the Ukraine war, our facilities and our assets are fully loaded and ready to strike Serbia again in case of any breach of territorial integrity of Serbia. And he knows that very well. So why he does that? Maybe for internal political consumption, but it's a big mistake. But it shows again that he is really not ready for any lasting peace, meaning the recognition, because we need a peace process and not a dialogue. We need a real peace process with a peace treaty between Serbia and Kosovo. And as long as we don't get that peace treaty, we need better focus on Bosnia and Kosovo dialogue and on the mutual integration of Bosnia and of Kosovo, the two countries which we anyhow defend militarily, ultimately because they are de facto military allies of NATO because of the post-war settlement treaties, and it's Austrian soldiers in Bosnia and in Kosovo which defend, among others obviously, and ultimately it's American military power which defends Kosovo and Bosnia and territorial integrity and European money. And as long as that's the case, why don't we clear up the situation and make it very clear and get the two countries into NATO, and then the situation is completely clear and there will be then political changes in Serbia. If they completely go to Russia, good, then we at least know they are part of the enemy camp. And if they then have also a political change towards the West, they are very welcome. We are very happy about the European Serbia to join NATO, EU and adopt the euro as well. That's absolutely possible and it's also fine for me. And I'm very happy about that outcome as well, because we want peace in the Balkans and all people living in NATO, EU and the euro. That is much better for everybody, from Austria, from Greece, from Romania, from Serbia, from Kosovo, from Bosnia. But this must happen now, and as long as the Serbs are not ready, and Russia is so influential in Serbia in keeping the politics always excited and controlling it via Moscow, then the situation is of course very tragically, and that we cannot accept, and we can also not call it a dialogue. We must call it a peace process, and it must result in mutual recognition. And I think it must do that in this year, in 2022. And if the Serbs are not ready, better focus on Bosnia and Kosovo friendship, because there a lot of progress and recognition is possible. And this is the much better strategy. Thanks a lot. More to come from Pax Europiana. Bye.